what exactly happened here today? This was us this morning, before I started badgering you guys about talking to your neighbors. We got into this room, we weren't quite sure what's going to happen, we weren't quite sure what we're going to get out of today. But this is what happened today. You heard from 20 speakers, 40% male, 60% female, from every continent except for Antarctica. So you've heard it from a lot of people today on the stage from across the world. When we add your input into the whole thing, we've got a lot of global input into this. And I'm pretty proud of that. We talk about this, the intersection of technology and law. We talked about an increasingly interdependent world. We talked about universality, inclusiveness, and building bridges. We had Christoph, our Secretary General, Christoph Bernasconi, up, and he told us that the success of the HCCH conventions has been not only because of their ability to facilitate effective access to justice for all by simplifying and streamlining procedures, but also because of the technology neutrality. And then we had the panel you just saw with our 3 professors, and this is what they told us, and they asked us, rather, how do we retool the convention and dress it up for the new world of technology and borderless cyberspace? It's a very good question. How do we retool this convention? We talked about SDG 16, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And I think we're well on our way to becoming one of those targets that people meet, sign up to the Service Convention, and meet SDG 16. That's not a bad thing. And then we asked you, how does innovation in cross-border litigation and civil procedure improve civil access to justice and contribute to the rule of law? And what did you tell us? First, you tossed the ball around the room, worked pretty okay, and you told us, in your writing, 1, perhaps only in transitive sense, more innovation means lower cost, and lower cost opens avenues to justice for people who lack access because courts and attorneys can then advocate for them more efficiently. You also told us the movement to online allows individuals to work on their own timetable within reason, as they do not need to do everything within traditional business hours. And I might add, it works across time zones, in every single time zone of the world. You told us quite a lot, but you also told us that access to justice is a fundamental human right, that states must improve their civil access in order to help safeguard this right. What do you want to do? Firstly, states should all sign up to the Hague Convention on Service. I didn't come up with that, you guys did. Secondly, you have to implement a common civil procedure to ensure mutual trust and recognition of the justice systems of all states, and therefore give people access to justice they deserve, regardless of their location. So, we heard from a bunch of speakers today, we heard from you in the audience today, and when we look at it chronologically in an event-based timeline, what do we have at present? We had our 3 judges from 3 different continents address what's happening today in their domestic systems, even looking forward from today. And what do we get? We know now there's a reform program to bring new technology to the administration of justice in England and Wales. This includes e-filing, online money claim services, online negotiation, and e-service. We heard about South Korea, e-service in South Korea, which includes posting e-documents on the system and notifying the addressee of the post of these e-documents. E-service requires prior registration for verification purposes. That's what's happening today in South Korea. Brazil has for more than a decade been instituting legislative reforms that allow for several things, including the computerization of the judicial process, the use of digital certification, and the progressive incorporation of technology innovation in the judicial process. And this is happening in 3 different continents across the world. Then we asked you again, how can domestic civil procedures become truly borderless with the use of information technology and other legal tech? And we tossed the ball some more. Very well done, this one right across the room. You told us technology that is consent-based and which allows people to operate in their own comfort zone, whether online or on paper, is a good step, because it allows people to embrace new technology while acknowledging that not all individuals are equally technologically adept. Then we have our speakers. We had Nicolas speak with us, and we learned that Colombia has also legislative reforms that aim to optimize the capacity of the judicial system, including the digital and e-service of documents. We had Ashna speak with us and tell us that one of the greatest concerns of judicial officers in the harness of legal tech and e-service is the question of security, and that two-factor verification processes may actually help in this question. So that's what we have at present, that's what we're doing. Then we talk about tech, present tech and emerging tech. And what do we look at? We had Elle Gilly, and what did she speak to us about? Two things: technology that can straddle two planes, the lightning rod analogy, the cloud and the ground. A great middle ground for the progressive implementation of IT in the operation of the HCCH Service Convention. Scanning and printing is a great in-between solution. And then we had our panel at the very beginning, you might remember, in the morning, talking about technology. And that's what we heard as well from Ted. Email, if secured, has strong technical measures to ensure authenticity, integrity, and confidentiality. And these factors are crucial for electronic service, e-service. We heard from Katerina, a common electronic platform for cross-border transmissions of service requests has several advantages, but also several unresolved issues that she went through. Very honestly, brutally honestly, and bring back to us, yes, it's great to talk about technology, but let's also talk about the issues it raises. What did we else talk about? Emma told us about DLT and blockchain and how it can improve the operation of the HCCH Service Convention by increasing efficiency, budget friendliness, accuracy, and immutability. She also raised a question that it's a pretty complex technology, but it's something we're pretty happy about. 10 years ago, iPhones would have been unthinkable, very complex technology. Today, we all use it. Who knows? We had Marty join us, and he also addressed the issue of blockchain, saying that blockchain raises certain issues, including the scope of application, the identification of authorities, real-time recording, data protection, and undefined legal effect of what this blockchain is. We had Christine talking about social media. And if you've been following us on our feeds, she said basically, social media is becoming more prevalent. And she asked the question, what are the advantages and challenges in using social media as an e-service platform? We'll find out in the next few years. Back to Christoph. He said, technology neutrality is a key factor in the convention's longevity. It is the neutrality that enables HCCH conventions to embrace new developments and new technologies, to pass the test of time, and to adjust effectively to changing environments. The idea is, we have legal texts, we have technology, and the twain meet. And that's the amazing thing. Then we ask you again the question, are international treaties truly technology neutral? And how can stakeholders in these treaties respond to advances in technology? Toss the ball some more. And you told us the HCCH Service Convention needs to be interpreted in a modern way because stakeholders should be prepared for innovation. You also told us the main adaptation question would be striking a balance between maintaining the security that is assumed currently and the speed and facility brought by this new technology. So now we know where we are, we know what we're doing right now, and we know the tech that we have and that is emerging. In preparing for the future, what do we look to? We go back to our keynote panel, the PRISM, this morning, and there was discussed that the HCCH Service Convention must adapt not only to work with novel legal tech and IT innovation, but also with legal innovations, such as the new HCCH conventions. And that's crucial for e-systems to be interoperable across jurisdictions. And ensuring interoperability, varying legal, budgetary, policy, cultural considerations have to be considered. And this is our panel that you just saw. And there was discussed that service is a key issue in international judicial cooperation. And IT allows for greater efficiency, speed, security, and all of these enable greater access to justice. The recurring theme of access to justice. And then we heard the best quote, I like it at least, best of the whole day. We need a new way of thinking. And what is this new way of thinking that we have to adopt in order to make sure that we are prepared and future ready for tomorrow. We have some questions. First question, how far can we stretch the postal channel analogy? Will we still have mail? You still got mail 10 years from now? We also ask the next question, how do we leverage technology now while we wait for the law to catch up? We have the tech, it is there. The law kind of is lagging a little, what do we do about it? We then ask the question, how can we best reconcile efficiency, security, and data protection? And how do we reach consensus on what constitutes secure electronic service? We then ask you the question, which technology will pose the greatest challenges to cross-border civil procedure? Which technology will provide the greatest opportunities and why? And you just got back to us after tossing balls. Challenge, blockchain. You'll need special training for the officers. Opportunity, email plus 5G. Legally compatible and fast. Another challenge, again blockchain, raises the question of security, not in terms of immutability, but rather privacy, since all access to the data in the chain would be open. Opportunity, technology which allows for all types of delocalized living and working. Technology which allows for secure, guaranteed, confirmed communication of documents online and with ease. Not a high bar, is it? So, this is what we got from you guys. Blockchain, once proved for proper application in the legal sphere, seems to be the most secure as a solution. And that based on the discussion in the room today, the email and shared government regulated platforms look pretty promising for the convention due to their nature of a follower of traditional post and government oversight respectively. So, this is our final question to you. There will be two. And I'll ask you to pick one. Answer one, please. If you've been very helpful and returning your feedback forms, you would have a single sheet left together with your name tag. If you have several, answer those as well. But take your last sheet, please, and I need you really to answer one of these questions. The first question is this. Which idea did you find the most impactful today and why? I'll repeat that. Which idea did you find the most impactful today and why? If you don't like that question, you have another option. What is the one action that stakeholders should take to harness IT for greater civil access to justice? The question is, what is one action that stakeholders should take to harness IT for greater civil access to justice? Now, what I will need, with these two questions up, pick one, please. Please answer that question now. Please write it on a sheet of paper. We need it now. This is important. That's fun. Trust me. All right? So first, either one or the other. The first question, which idea was the most impactful today? If you don't like that question, the second question, what is the one action that stakeholders should take to harness IT for greater civil access to justice? And when you answer those questions, would you please indicate on your sheet of paper whether it's question one or question two? Please,
yeah,
into the box. Yeah.
The answer I picked up is very general but very applicable. Cooperation between legal advisors and technology.
Cooperation between legal advisors and technology.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Thank you for sharing. Somebody else? Question one, what was the most impactful idea?
Social media all allows us for, it was very scrabbled. Social media allows for the possibility to serve judicial documents outside of standard jams of documents, submission and transmission.
Thanks very much. So social media allows for a completely different way of transmitting documents for service. That's an impactful idea. Somebody else, one last one, and we'll move to the second question. Yes, please. Will we toss the ball over there, please?
Bit general, but quite a
You need to speak into the box so we catch you.
quite a precise conclusion. The effective access to justice relates on the use of IT.
Oh, wow. Okay, the effective access to justice actually will depend on proper use of information technology. Thank you very much. Anybody else want to share on question one before we move to question two? Thank you. Good catch.
Okay. The answer was make domestic legislation flexible enough for IT usage.
Thank you very much. We want to make legislation flexible enough to use IT. Very good one. I think Brazil's done a great job. We've heard that. England and Wales and South Korea as well. So thank you very much for that. Colombia as well, actually. Somebody else, one action that stakeholders have taken. Those that haven't answered, yeah, we'll just hand the ball over then. It's not a ball, it's a cube, isn't it? There we go,
Okay,
please.
I think it's a very general thought, but I think it's very important. Provide access to internet and ensure it as a human right. Then ensure internet literacy, at least at its most basic level.
Thank you. And that's something that we always overlook. That's absolutely right. Not everyone has access to internet, and not everyone is internet literate. Thank you very much for that, an important point. And on that note, let's do this again sometime. I thank you very much. Thank you very much. And have Elizabeth up.